Hi, good morning, and welcome to the Celebrate podcast. I'm Lisa McGarry, co-owner of Celebrate Primary Care.
Hey, I'm Della Tootin, the other owner of Celebrate Primary Care.
We are live every Tuesday at 11 on Facebook and YouTube, and you can also listen to the podcast anywhere that you listen to podcasts, because I'm not going to try to list them. We always want to thank Elio with Fiesta Media for producing our show. Thank you, Elio. And today we are so excited to have Jason Hurst of Collier Companies with us today.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello. How are you guys?
We're happy to have
Glad
you.
to be here. It's fun.
I know. Della, where's your inner Oprah? This is what she's like.
My inner Oprah. So, Jason, we're going to start from the beginning.
Right. Do I need to bring some tissues?
Yes, they're on the side. Jason, thanks for being here with us today. We love your lovely wife. We love what you guys do.
I do too.
I know
she's amazing. Yeah, she's pretty awesome.
So we love what you do here in the community and with your businesses. But we're here to talk a little bit about commercial real estate and what you're doing.
Love it. A lot.
A lot.
Well, and how did you end up in Gainesville? We know her story. Yeah. We don't really know yours. So you got to tell us.
4 scores and 7. No, I'm just kidding. I've been in Gainesville for about 15 years now. So I graduated from Florida A&M University with a finance degree, and just thought I was going to be a Wall Street mogul. And got a job with J.P. Morgan. Moved to New York right after school for about a year. Absolutely hated the lifestyle, the Wall Street lifestyle. It was a grind, working about 80 to 100 hours a week. Whew. As a 25-year-old. Great city, terrible line of work. Love investing personally, so I still do that quite a bit, but just hated the Wall Street lifestyle. So I had another standing offer upon graduating with Florida A&M to do pharmaceutical sales with Pfizer. So I said, just give me the first thing that opens up in the South. So I'm thinking I'm going to be in Georgia, maybe go back to Florida. I wouldn't mind being in Miami or Tampa, all of the kind of sexy cities in Florida. And they said, we're going to put you in the Jacksonville region. I was like, okay, Jacksonville, yeah, I can live with that. It's still Florida. I'm ready to get out of New York. And they were like, okay, so yeah, you're going to be in the Jacksonville region. You're going to be reporting to your boss in Jacksonville, but you're going to live in Gainesville. I said, where? They said, Gainesville. I said, where? They put me in Gainesville, Florida. Had never been here. I was in school for about 5.5 years. Never been to Gainesville. It's one of those places I knew where it was and that you can drive through there to get to other places. But now I'm going to be living here. So I was like, you know what? I'll be a team player and go to Gainesville. So they put me in Gainesville. So I did pharmaceutical sales in Gainesville, Florida. I was actually living in Ocala and commuting back to Gainesville every day. So that's a whole other story. But was working in Gainesville and eventually moved up here, bought my first house, and loved it. But around 2008, there was this thing called the Great Recession.
Yeah.
That then they completely eliminated our entire team in Gainesville. So I'm here, moving to Gainesville, got this new job, got this new house, but they pulled the rug from under me. So that was that started off a stretch from about 2008 to about 2009-ish, where there was a lot of kind of soul searching to figure out, well, how did I get here? What do I do next? And I decided to flex my entrepreneurial muscle. So I started a maintenance business called Sparkling Spots. I came up with that name myself.
I like it. Good.
Spots should sparkle. That's the way I figured. I was fortunate enough to get a lot of good contracts, doing some bank cleaning, cleaned some federal buildings. So did very, very well to start off. Joined a church, which is where I met my wife. We were we were friends, and if you would have asked us when we first met if we would be dating 4 years later, we would have been like, nah. I had some stuff going on, she had some stuff going on, and we were like, we don't want that going on together. No. So business was flourishing, friends with my wife, church was growing, and then I knew that once the market bounced back, I wanted to be in real estate. I didn't know kind of what, whether it be commercial or residential, but I just knew that I wanted to be in real estate because I liked what it did for people, and I like to sell. Fast forward, around about 2012, my wife and I got married, August 18, 2012. So
you went from friends to married quick.
Yeah, so there was some other stuff.
I was like, there's more to that story.
Yeah. So we were friends for about 4 years, and we kind of developed as people, and then we kind of started dating around 2010, and for about 2 years we dated. And then we finally made the decision to get married in 2012. And at that time, I was kind of making that transition between being an entrepreneur, and there's about 4 or 5 businesses that, for the sake of time, we're not going to go through each of those businesses, but I was this serial entrepreneur kind of guy, so I wanted to have multiple streams of income, which there really is. You can do it, but I was not prepared to be this mogul that I wanted to be. So I decided to flex my next entrepreneurial muscle in real estate. So I joined on with Coldwell Banker, doing residential real estate. Bo Berry, who's a very, very successful real estate broker in town, took me under his wing. For about 6 months, I worked under him. Didn't ask for any money, didn't ask for anything but his time, and really learned what I thought I was going to be going down the path of in commercial real estate. Learned a lot about commercial real estate from him. And then when I got my license, they said, okay, time for residential real estate. I was like, well, dang, I just spent 6 months learning commercial real estate. But it was good for me because I learned a lot of the soft skills that are needed to be successful in real estate, doing commercial real estate. But there's only so much I can talk about curtains and bed frames and all this other residential stuff. So had moderate success there. For those that knew me back then, my motto was think Hearst first when it comes to real estate.
That's good. That's
I'm always about branding.
I like
Yes,
it.
yeah, I was going to say that's
Think
good.
Hearst first. When it comes to real estate, think Hearst first.
Yeah.
And some people did, which is good.
You can still use that though, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
No, you still should think Hearst first when it comes to real estate, just commercial real estate now.
Got it.
So I did that for about 6 months. Wasn't really my speed. So I ran into a gentleman named Nick Banks, who's still a successful commercial real estate guy in town, who had a boutique firm at that time called Front Street. And one thing led to another. We hit it off and joined Front Street in 2014. And really, that's where my real estate career took off, doing a bunch of retail real estate, mostly along the side of landlord leasing. But did have some sales, which definitely padded the pocket very well for me to be able to compound my real estate business. But he ended up getting acquired in 2019 by a firm by the name of Avis & Young, which was a great firm, but for one reason or another, it really didn't create the platform that I needed to really experience what I wanted to experience in commercial real estate. So I joined Colliers in 2020, and it's probably the single best decision. Very thankful for my time with Avis & Young, with Nick. Nick was a mentor of mine, but joining Colliers was the best thing that happened in my commercial real estate career. So
Because you
definitely.
do stuff in Tallahassee and stuff too, right?
Yeah, so my team. So it's interesting to even say that I have a team now, but we had so much business that I really couldn't do it as a one-man band. So I really learned how to build a team. And now we're stretching from Tallahassee to Ocala, Tallahassee over to Gainesville, and then down to Ocala with our team, doing a bunch of landlord leasing and now doing a lot of retail sales. So it's been a fun ride. Very interesting how organically it happened, but here we are now, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that and restaurants at the same time.
Yes.
Lord have
Yes.
mercy. So if you guys have any pointers, let me know, because I haven't figured it out yet.
restaurants are tough, but you guys
Yeah.
do it well.
Yeah. So Maple Street was a client of mine in 2015. They were actually one of my first clients. So we have this thing where somebody sits at the desk. We call it the listing line. So any calls that come in during that time, we are the broker of record for taking those calls, just to provide a level of service to get somebody on the phone and actually be able to speak to a human voice, which is rare these days. But Maple Street was calling in at that time, and Maple Street had started about 3 years prior to that in 2012, and they have a handful of listings at that time, and we were going to go over and look at one of the listings in town. It's the old Rose and Bowl space. I don't know if you guys remember, but it's now Taste.
Oh, yeah.
Over on 34th Street. So we were looking at that space, and for whatever reason, it didn't work out for them. But I had one listing in Tallahassee, and a neighbor said they were on their way to Tallahassee. So I said, well, look, I've got one listing there. I know you're looking in this vast city, but take a look at this one. It's right by FSU, and they loved it.
Oh,
So
awesome.
they, the first Tallahassee location with Maple Street, I was actually fortunate enough to broker, and went there, fell in love with the concept, and fell in love with the owners. which were guys that kind of resonated with me. So the mission of Maple Street is to help people, serve others, be a part of the community. I was like, shoot, that's
perfect.
Yeah, that's like me and my wife's personal tagline. Like, but fell in love with the concept. And during that time, you know, they came back a year later and said, we had a great experience with you. Let's look at Gainesville again now. And the first location that we brokered was the one in Butler Plaza, which fast forward we now own and bought back from them 4 years later. So it's very serendipitous how that worked out. But the more I went into Maple Streets, you know, in Jacksonville, in Gainesville, being a customer, it really resonated with me how they do business, because they're more of a civic organization, more so than even a food place. But the food was really good too. So I was like, you're hitting the best of both worlds with their community involvement and the good food and the good coffee, because I drink more coffee than I probably care to talk about.
I love that. I love that coffee club thing. I'm there every.
So I was a coffee club member
every single day.
Yes.
Your wife knows.
Shout it out on that.
Every day. It's great.
So I'm not only an owner, I was also a client. So I definitely was one of the first coffee club members. So that put me in there quite a bit. So fell in love with the concept, fell in love with the owners, and at one point, when I was in high school, there was a organization I was part of called DECA. Mm-hmm. And one of the projects that I did with DECA was to open up a restaurant. That was and we went to state for that competition, so I was very proud of that. But the concept, it's funny, the concept that I came up with was Lottie Mae's Soul Food Cafe, named after my grandma. I may still use that, so.
Yeah.
Nobody take that. Strike that out, yeah, don't take that. Lottie Mae's Soul Food Cafe.
That's cute.
So I always had a dream to be a restaurant owner, and then in college I used to always order packets for like Tropical Smoothie and Subway just to figure out what it took to be a restaurant owner, be a franchisee. But I kind of let cares of life come up, had a wife, had a kid, kind of let that dream go by the wayside over the decades. But with Maple Street, I was like, well, this seems like something I would want to be a part of, because it is very it's a great civic organization. It's really giving back to the community. And then B, the food is fantastic. Like, how do I get down? And at that time, they didn't have a franchise system, so they were kind of figuring it out themselves too. So my wife and I were actually the first people to actually sign up as franchisees. So we were pioneers in that sense. But went through the process. We had to read 3 great books: Good to Great, Raving Fans, which is still, I probably read that once a year now.
Yeah.
Great book. And then Crucial Conversations: How to Communicate When the Stakes Are High. And then we had to work in a restaurant for 3 days. And after all this stuff that we did over that process, I loved it even more. So we raised the money, long story short, we raised the money to open up the Tioga location. And then they came to us during that time and said, look, we've got a corporate store in town and we've got a franchise store in town now. So it doesn't make sense to have, one
of each.
One store being run this way, one store being run this way. Why don't we just figure out a way for you to raise the money to do that? So I was like, okay,
here we go. Now I got
$200,000 that I got to raise, but might as well do it. And sure enough, we figured it out and were able to buy the existing location too. So then we got 2 for 1, August 2nd, 2018. So we're coming up on our 3-year anniversary of owning both stores.
Congratulations!
Yeah, we're very excited about that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's fun.
So what is your passion? Like, you have a lot of things going on, and I think that's cool, like doing a bunch of different things, but what is it for you?
Yeah, for me, I like getting the best out of people. So for me, when I joined real estate, I wanted to see entrepreneurs thrive, because I knew how many challenges that I had when I was trying to get into entrepreneurs, trying to figure it out, trying to maximize my profits. So for me, real estate is a tool for people to be successful in business. So that's why I'm passionate about helping people find the most optimal place, because, now that I'm also an entrepreneur with restaurants, that's a very key part of the process. So and then also you can use real estate as a tool to make the city better. So we got all of these fun concepts. I love working with them because I'm eventually going to be a customer. As a local resident of Gainesville,
right.
I like to find people great spaces so I can go in and be a
Enjoy
customer
it
as
too.
well. Yeah. So you increase the quality of life. It's a tool for increasing the quality of life when it comes to real estate. When it comes to restaurants, I don't know that I would own a restaurant if it wasn't for Maple Street. Because there's a bunch of restaurants that have good food. My wife and I, we're foodies. There's a bunch of restaurants that have great food, but we don't want to be an option. We want to be a destination. the reason why we do that is so we can have a space where people can come and connect. I have a bunch of my meetings there now. We like to see other people that have a bunch of their meetings now. We've met some of our closest friends like Lisa in the restaurant. Because it's just a place where people can come, connect, commune, build relationships. And that's why I like Maple Street, because they are really fostering that whole connection once you walk in there. So we're asking questions that some people find it very personal, but we do that because when you shout it out, you're like, oh, that's the answer I gave, or that's an answer I would have thought of. Or we got these big open area seating. When you walk in there, you see these open area seating styles, so people can sit down with strangers and really connect. And people connect over food and coffee all the time.
Yeah.
So,
well, and at the Tioga store, your wife knows everybody's name that comes in there.
She has this gift.
She is amazing
to connect with people that I have never seen before. In 5 minutes, she will have your whole life story, and she comes back to tell me about these people. I was like, well, how long did you spend with these people? You know, they just were at the counter. I'm like, how in the world do you get this life story at the counter?
Because she's got such a gorgeous smile, and she's just like, she
loves that stuff.
She asks great questions. I mean, she's amazing. So, some of the questions that you were saying, people are like a little bit kind of put off-ish.
Yeah.
Is like your favorite movie as a kid, like your first car.
Yeah.
What are some of the other ones that were?
If you were starting a movie, who would play you in that movie?
Yeah.
That's very interesting to see.
You don't like that question?
I love that question,
so
but some of the people, who I think would play me, I've gotten Kevin Hart. Some people say Kevin Hart to play me. One of my good friends says Anthony Mackie, who was one of the Marvel superheroes. Before he passed away, Chadwick Boseman, I've heard.
I absolutely agree with that. He was so fantastic.
I would do Chadwick Boseman, Rest in peace to him. But then some of the people that you hear, and then you look at their face and their being, and you're like, how'd you come up with that? Yeah.
It's good to have a dream.
Right. All right.
Or please don't tag me with that person. That's what I think.
So it's interesting to hear those things, and then around election time it got a little weird, but we'll leave that one alone. But it's good to hear people's answers and really use that as a tool to connect with people. So
absolutely.
So if we were to promote what you do in commercial real estate, is it more? You do more leasing, you do more selling, like what do you like to do, like what kind of gets you excited?
So I do probably about 60% leasing now. When I first started my career, it's probably more 80% leasing. Because of the state of where the market is right now, it has kind of shifted to about 40% sales, just because money is still relatively cheap. People are scared about inflation. People are kind of feeling like we're at the end of that cycle, especially because I do a lot of retail. So people are really starting to see what their property is worth and really trying to test the market, and people are buying it. People are still buying retail. I've done a bunch of office sales this year, which is pretty interesting. We didn't know what office was going to do heading out of the pandemic, but it has been extremely resilient. We're very pleased, and our clients are very pleased with what we've been able to either find them or as a buyer or get the price for as a seller. So I'd say we're about 60 to 40 leasing being 60 and 40 being sales. Yeah.
So is that, you like that split, or what do you really?
Honestly, I like, and this is going to sound cliche, I like getting the best value to get whatever that looks
they
like.
Need.
Whatever they need, and coming up with solutions. So I've got a client that I can think of specifically now. I've converted a lot of people to think buying now rather than traditionally they'd be sellers, and really empower them to do that. So I like finding whatever the value is, the best value is for the bang for the buck. Because you're gonna have this, let's just call it $10,000 outlay. It might as well maximize it. If I think the market is going to be one that is going to bounce back and there'll be more opportunities later, use that $10,000 at least. If I think that it's going to be one of those things where money is cheap right now, you need to be looking at these opportunities because they're not going to come back. Use that $10,000. But at the end of the day, they're going to be using that $10,000 for something in their budget. So might as well maximize it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
makes sense. I like it. And then you got the two kids. Love
Yeah.
them.
They're out of
JoJo, and they're out of
they're
your
out of
parents?
town this week.
Are they with your parents in Chicago?
At the time of this recording, no. So my parents, they actually have this 5 to 8 year plan. My mom says 5. My dad says 8.
Okay.
To move to Florida because I've got a sister down in Tampa. So they are down in Tampa right now.
Oh,
So
with the kids.
yeah. So my wife and I are going to try to get away
date
during this
nights.
time. Yeah. We actually went on a long walk yesterday, just talking and laughing. We kind of miss them, kind of.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
kind of.
Ish.
Yeah.
Are your parents in Chicago?
Yeah, so they live in Chicago and they come down to Tampa a couple times a year now. We've got a niece now who's only not even a year. She'll be a year in a couple of months here. So we've got the critical mass of the grandkids in Florida.
It's important.
So it's a draw. For
yeah,
sure.
And they flew in my other sister from New Orleans to come in for the week. So
Are you going to join them and see everybody? Or?
No.
Oh.
This is a getaway. We need separation.
Okay.
So they actually call it Camp Grandma and Camp Pawpaw right now.
Oh,
They call it Camp Pawpaw.
I saw that where they were out by the curb.
Yeah.
I was laughing. I was a car seat. They're
we
just
just wanna
sitting.
make
They're
it
just sitting there right up by the
that's
road with all their suitcases. Just
We just want to make it convenient. My dad didn't even have to stop. We just keep running and just run
fling
and
'em
jump
in.
in.
Yeah.
Just we'll aim and hopefully they make it in.
You
there.
were ready.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh,
Yeah.
it was so
Pass
funny.
ready.
That's awesome.
It did. It made me laugh. I was like, and I know Jason's just sitting there in her car seat, like looking down the road. I was like,
Yeah.
They're
Thankfully, that was only
They
a
are
couple
cute.
hours, but we would have probably put them out the night before if we could. But there's laws against that. So.
oh, and they were ready probably.
Yeah.
So
to
are they
go hang
gone
with
for
it.
the week?
They're gone until Friday.
Nice.
So
Okay.
yeah,
You got a little
we
bit
called an
more time.
audible tomorrow. We cleared the schedule, and then we're gonna go away.
Good.
And get some time. Yeah, just
It's
some time
important.
yeah, we got to pour into each other because sometimes, especially in marriage and business, you do so much, and then you kind of stop and look at each other like, "Who are you again?"
Yeah.
So we're
You get
gonna
lost.
rediscover each other. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I know. I
Yeah.
remember the first time. So my kids, they're now 11 and 15. But the first time we went away, it was like one of those things that's like, do I still even like you? Like, you know what I
Exactly.
mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
You're just so busy working
Yeah.
and doing the things. And
Everybody's
like,
got their role, and
Yeah,
you know,
and over years you change. Like
You
my
change.
taste when I was 25 is different now that I'm 40. And what I like to do and what I enjoy. And we're coming up on 9 years of marriage next month. So yeah, we've changed over time too. So
gotta
definitely
do the
good
adapting.
to reassess where we are, and just we get to know each other.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and grow together.
It'd
It's
be fun.
good.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
fun.
So are
Sweet.
you going to continue to invest in real estate yourself?
Yeah, so that while the money is cheap and so we get privy to working in commercial real estate, we get privy to some stuff that's happening before the general public. So now I'm like, well, why am I making all these other people rich and wealthy and I get access to some of these things and I'm not creating wealth
Invest,
for myself.
yeah.
So now we're looking at some of those deals too to invest. Even with real estate as it pertains to Maple Street, we were looking at deals to where we can actually be the owners of the building.
Yeah.
So Maple
And
Street was
lease it.
acquired in 2019 by Cracker Barrel, which was a great acquisition. It's been nothing but great for us as far as getting economies of scale down on some of our pricing and being a part of a brand that's been successful for decades. Us being for all intents and purposes, we're still a newer concept, just under 10 years as a concept. Learning from somebody that's been, kind of a staple in American society for a while, it's been a great partnership and marriage. But at the same time, there's only 3 franchisees in the entire Maple Street system out of, going on 50 stores now.
Wow.
So we're kind of like waving our hand to still get that attention, and we do. But at some point, we would probably think that they would try to take those 3 stores or those handful of stores that are owned by the 3 franchisees and buy us out. So in that case, I would love to own our real estate.
Yeah.
One for it
Lease
being
it
a wealth
back.
creation, a wealth creation tool. But if they ever buy us out, well, great. Now we got Cracker Barrel on the hook
Yeah.
as one of our tenants, which is
fantastic,
fantastic.
yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Win.
Creates value for everybody, and we still get the real estate holdings. And now we've got a valuable tenant in place. So we are looking at expanding the Maple Street footprint for my wife and I, but also looking at it from a real estate standpoint too. But then just personal real estate investing. We like the industrial market, specifically self-storage. We think that's going to take off, especially with all of the e-commerce concepts, not just the 800-pound gorilla, which is Amazon, but a bunch of other people are really using
Step
industrial
into
as a tool to grow, and there's pent-up demand there in Florida specifically, but also the retail market. We think that experiential retail is still here to stay. There's some things that are Amazon-proof, restaurants being one of them, which we are bullish on too. So we're looking.
Good, that's awesome. Well, thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, happy to have
is
you.
so fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the health tip.
So the health tip.
Yes.
So I think that, you started out in the financial world, and you're still continuing down that with the entrepreneurship. So I think like financial wellness is important for people to
Absolutely.
be mindful, because if you're not
Stress.
financially well, then it adds stress.
Yes.
And for me, I think the foundation of a lot of illness is stress.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I
Wow.
think,
It's
right?
true.
I mean,
No, it's true.
So
100%.
financial wellness. I mean, I feel like that's your overall message
Yeah.
Yep.
for people today. And everything you do in the community is so
Appreciated.
So
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
At-
That's awesome.
good at
Yep.
with the ministries that you guys do. So,
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
thank
for
you,
having me.
Elio,
Jason.
you're going to put Jason's information up so that people can find him, so they can get their real estate or their retail space or whatever they need, commercial only. It's like, no residential.
Yeah.
Think hers first, right?
Yeah, I think hers first.
All right, guys. We will see you next week at 11 live on YouTube and Facebook. Thanks again, Elio with Fiesta Media for producing, and we'll see you guys later. Thanks.